Southern Vangard Radio. This is DJ John Doe, and to the left of me is my man.
Yeah, while I rearrange this pop stopper, get this shit out the way. Cappuccino Meeks, y'all, what up?
Yeah.
Welcome.
Cheers, my brother.
Welcome to you all. Yeah, man. I'm loving these big boy recreation ale cans on me.
All right.
It's a lot of
Athens,
beer,
Georgia
man.
in the house. Terrapin's the unofficial sponsor tonight.
Mm-hmm.
They need to be official sponsor. We need to work on that.
Yeah,
in
because
a big
beers
way.
are delicious.
They are delicious.
No doubt.
How are you, Meeks? We can go okay?
Yeah, man. I woke up on a hell of a roller coaster today, man.
Why is that?
I don't know, man. I was thinking about old Drake songs this morning, man. And that shit was fucking with me a little bit. I don't know. Don't ask me.
How old? How old? We need some details here.
I guess I opened up this.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you can't start the shit off in it. Yeah.
Well, I woke up and I just felt like running through the 6 with my woes this morning.
Okay,
so,
all right.
So Know Yourself was on my mind heavy for some. I don't really know why.
Okay,
but I played the full song a couple of times via YouTube, and I dug a little deeper and found the instrumental, and it got to the point that I'm thinking about remaking the song on some Memphis shit.
Okay.
You know, Drake is,
yeah.
He got ties of Memphis, but then I remembered I don't rap no more, and I got sad. So, yeah, all that shit just...
So it wasn't good. It didn't turn out good for you.
It wasn't good at all. And I started drinking immediately after that. So I've been on a tear all day.
Wait, like pre-noon? Like you were more like AM
11,
drinking?
11:15, 11:30.
Okay, all right.
You know, something like that.
Brunch, on some brunch shit.
On some brunch shit.
Okay,
but
all right.
some 100 proof bourbon and lemonade.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. Nice.
I was not doing that at 11:15 this morning, but I wish I was.
Nice little southern fish sandwich. You know what I'm saying? I did it right, but of course, that whole little Aubrey thing fucked my whole shit up this morning. But I'm back, man.
Right,
I'm back, man. We do a good thing here on Sunday nights. I'm happy to be here right now, man. This will put you back on your square, you know.
Absolutely.
So that's where I'm
There's
at
no
right now.
doubt about that.
But it was a hell of a roller coaster there, buddy. This morning, man.
Yeah, I was in the middle of church that time, man. I should have been saying a little prayer for you. I like additional prayers. I say prayers for everyone.
I should have been with you, praising the Lord somewhere, man. It's all good though. Y'all back in person, right? At the spot?
Well, kind of, but not really.
Okay.
I mean, the latest wave or surge or whatever really kind of has everything fucked up again. So like, everybody's kind of back at the crib now. I mean, we're still going. I mean, my wife works there, so you know, masks are mandatory, you know, and all that shit. But I mean, and the where they hold service is like really spaced out, and we're doing the best we can, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's still fucked up out here. So
I got you.
You know, what are you gonna do?
You're gonna do what you're gonna do to survive.
You know, and it's a
man.
Presbyterian church too, right? So there I say this with all due respect, there are a lot of old folk there.
Okay.
So they're like
yeah.
So that, you know, probably 50 to 60% of the congregation is at least over the age of 63 or 64.
Yeah, and pastor can't take that chance.
Nah. So they're just staying at the crib. So
well, hey, bedside Baptist it is, man.
Basically.
Yeah. That's what it is,
no doubt. But it's all right.
It's safe. It's safe, man.
Yeah, so big up Pastor Joe and all that.
Shouts out to Pastor Joe.
No doubt.
That's the homie.
That is the homie.
No doubt.
All right, let's get into this shit. We're not here to talk about brunch and church the entire episode.
Not at all.
This is Southern Vangard Radio. We drop twice a week. My name's DJ John Doe. This guy over here, Eddie Meeks. Eddie Cappuccino, South Memphis, motherfucking East Macklemore Meeks, I should add. Man, we do this thing every Tuesday and Thursday, provided everything works out. We're at the end of our 6th year, right,
yeah,
Meeks?
Man.
About to hit our 7-year anniversary.
Close it out.
Yeah, in January. So we're hype about that. We got a bunch of things lined up for the 7-year anniversary in January.
No doubt.
So make sure you follow on all the platforms, SoundCloud, Mixcloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio. You can hit YouTube. You can get the mix on YouTube, and you can also get visuals of the interview sessions, the interviews we do on YouTube as well on Thursdays. And then we have some affiliates as well, makes it help us spread the word.
Yes, our affiliates are atlhiphop.com, IamClassic.rawradio.net, Return of the BoomBap, WRBB, X Squad Radio, X Squad affiliates. All those are based in Atlanta, and then we venture out to the West Coast with Soul Public Radio, Cali.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, man, we're hype. We have a returning guest. We have a country cousin.
Yeah.
In the house with us again. He's back. He's back. We always need more country at Southern Vanguard Radio. He
represents the country folk all the way up in Brooklyn, right?
All the way
up 15 years.
Brooklyn. We got a representative up there.
Yeah, man. And we have a gentleman that is a first-time guest on the show, which, God, now that I think about it, it's despicable that we haven't had him on here before now, because we're always playing his music.
Records, yeah.
We're big fans, obviously, from all the way back. So anyway, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Elder Sensei and Jake Palumbo.
Yeah.
What up,
fellas?
What up?
Hey, thanks for being with us tonight, man. We appreciate y'all.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
My first time being on here. Thank you very much.
No doubt.
Well, just interview L, because over the years, man, a lot of features, lot of music you've dropped. I know one of the main questions I wanted to ask you coming into this tonight is, what keeps you motivated, man? Being an original member of the Artifacts and everything like that, and the name that you made for yourself, like it's been a journey, right?
Yes, indeed, it has. I started my solo career in like 98, 99, and I had no idea anybody wanted to hear Elder Sensei by himself. It was a lot of work in with that, a lot of ups and downs, but it made me a lot better. Made me understand the independent game a lot more. I understood the freedom that I had to do a lot of things I wanted to do that I probably couldn't do if I was still signed to a label. Looking at everybody else still putting out music motivates me. And a lot of the music is quality, especially now, more now, even the last few years.
Yeah.
But I'll just try to stay consistent because I like doing this. I always tell people, until the email stop and the phone call stop and or the booking stop, then I know if I see people starting to say the music whack or anything like that, that's when I know it's time to stop. But
I got you.
Up to this point, I would say since 98 and 99, I probably have had a record out every year up till now, either on my own music or somebody else's music, whether it be a feature, as even through touring, it's just... is still having that hunger to want to reinvent yourself every time you put out a record or every time I write a verse.
No doubt.
So that's pretty much mostly what it is.
Okay.
So speaking of reinventing yourself, then, Jake, how did the two of you get together? Like, where's the relationship start that got you to this point?
Well, the way that a lot of my collaborations have happened, through my quote unquote day job. Some people may or may not be aware that, my day job, for lack of a better term, is, for over a decade now, I've been one of the busiest, recording, mixing, mastering engineers in the city of New York. And for the last, 9 or 10 years, I've owned and operated my own studio. So I have very often parlayed my engineering relationships into collaborative relationships of, doing songs and producer records and whatnot. And, to make a very long story short, basically, there was a manager that, Elle and I both knew and, had done a little bit of business with. And he had reached out to me and said, hey, Elle's doing this album XL with Sadat, and they've got a song that they need mixed. And if you'll mix a song, Elle will do a verse for you. And so, he comes to the studio to get his, to get his song mixed, and we mixed the song. That song was War, which ended up being on the XL album. Yep. But after the work was done, we rolled up and, I started playing beats, and, L really took to the beats, and, he came back a couple days later and ended up laying the song down, the song that later became Last Laugh featuring Wordsworth and Jay Legato. But, initially that was just my verse. Like, that was just the El the Sensei verse on a Jake Palumbo beat. There was no album. There was no nothing. And when El was leaving the studio that night, he was like, why don't we just do a project? Like, do a little EP or something. And, at the time, like, I don't want to say I would have been too shook to say that or to ask that or to suggest that. But, my confidence, 6-7 years ago was not maybe as strong as it is today. And, for L to suggest that, like, hey, let's just actually work on something together and both invest the time and the sweat and the creativity and, touching things up as they need to go. I was on board immediately. And, as we'll get to later in the interview, obviously the album did not happen right away. A lot of things happened in the meantime. Mm-hmm. But no, I mean, as far as us getting together, it was really just a product of being in the studio. And like, that's how a lot of relationships have happened. Like, I focus on doing my job first. I get the work done. But once the work is done and people are happy with it, it's such an easier sell to be like, hey, can I play you some beats? Or, hey, like, I rhyme too. Can we do a joint? Like, those kind of conversations are much easier like that. So, it just so happened that, El and I really, took to each other's personality and ended up investing a long haul into it. But yeah, it just happened in the studio.
That's dope. El, are you Atlanta based these days?
No, I'm in Jersey right now. I'm still in Jersey.
Okay.
I'll be in Atlanta a lot though. I got a lot of people out there. Shabam, JR.
No doubt.
I do a lot of. I'm actually doing an album with a producer, my man Tony Galvin. May he rest in peace.
No doubt. Rest in peace, Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was out there working with him, and he having to get sick. And things went the way they were. I was out there shooting videos, and my man Burn one. I did one with him. He actually shot the "Bring It In Loud."
Yeah, the new video, right?
Yeah. So I'm out there a lot though.
Okay. Well, I was wondering, because I do realize that you out here a lot, but I was gonna ask, and I can still ask this question. Like, what's you and Jake's work dynamic like? Like, what's the process like? If you could take us into that room for a little bit.
Well, when I first came to the studio, I just liked the way the studio had looked. I told him, I was like, "Yo, it looked like, when you first walk in there, it's like a Millennium Falcon almost, but then it was like a meat locker, a whole meat locker. Because where that spot used to be.
Yeah. Okay.
For meeting. So like when I walked in there, it was like, okay, I felt him immediately just from how he was working in the room. But then my man, I think Innocent was there that day I came there.
Yeah.
He had left, and I was asking about but I say, we should put him on the album, because I immediately just filling out the room, I knew that if working with Jake, it was gonna be dope because I already knew his music anyway. I was just hearing about him. So like for me, it's never a hard thing to do. It's just like I would ask him to just play me some beats, and whatever he would play me there, I would just tell him to send me that through email. And if there was anything else he had, let's let me hear those. So I would go home and I would just sit there and listen to some of the tracks. Mm-hmm. And I would kind of pick which one I knew. If I went back there, I knew which ones I would do. So when I heard the track with Wordsworth on there, my brother, I was like, damn, this was real soulful. I knew where I wanted to go with it. The day I recorded the song though, I had a cold. So my man instantly heard, he's like, I can hear you had a cold on this day. I was like, yeah, but I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna leave it like that because it sounds good. And
your voice was a little different or whatever.
No, it would just say, I just happened to have a cold that day. It was kind of nasal. But people that know me, that know my voice, instantly heard but they heard it. But my man was like, yo, it sounds dope though, because it's a little different.
I got you.
But like when we did that one song, I knew, and we got into the next one, I knew that we could do something more special than what I thought it could be when I first asked him. So like every session we would have, for me, if we're gonna talk about doing something, we're gonna do a song every session. I'm just from doing Artifacts music and to doing my own music, I believe in, if you're gonna go to the studio, you have to complete a song. Even to a point where you might have to do the hook later. But you better go in there with some kind of way coming out with a song, because it's not like easy to sit there and write. And I write on the spot. So a lot of the times I would have to really okay, this is the one I'm gonna do today. Sometimes it was rare if we did two, but I would probably do one and start the next one and come back. But I think Jake, he see how I work. I love the booth. The way his booth is very warm. So the mic is always good. There's never, everything is secluded. The booth is nice and padded up, so you get to hear yourself in a way where it's like, if it's not mixed, it sounds mixed while you're rocking.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah,
I can hear how the songs can go even just from one verse and no hook or nothing. That's how we did most of the song, right there on the spot.
Nice.
I can write at home, but when I get to the studio and it get loud, it's different.
Yeah, for sure. Hold on, fellas. I got to hit record on something real quick. 1 second. There we go.
Recording in progress.
Sorry. That's dope. So, I guess, Jake, you mentioned that it took a while for the album to kind of come together. Like, what were the reasons that it took so long for this thing to?
There were several things that happened. Like, okay, at the time, a lot of stuff happened. At the time that I met Elle, I was brought in originally to mix one song, and I get to talking to Elle about, the state of the XL album with him and Sadat, because there was a bunch of files from 500 different places and just a bunch of audio jigsaw puzzles that needed to be solved. And so I got on board to help put XL together.
In a big ass way he helped.
It was a lot of work, but we got it done. The album came out, but that took a little while. So the thing was when we would meet up to work on the XL stuff, with whatever time we had left over, we were either working on our project or listening to beats or, formulating ideas or stuff like that. So we get the XL album out, that's done, that's out. Well, then Elle and Sadat go on tour. At the same time, since then, I've released 2 solo albums, an instrumental album. I mixed the Black Moon album,
album with Rusty Juck, everything.
Oh, I did the album with Rusty Jucks, so I was fairly busy too. So then it comes time, we're almost done with Solving Cases, which is not called Solving Cases just yet. We got the title at kind of the 11th hour, but we're close to being done. And then it comes time to mix the Artifacts album. Mm-hmm. So, we pause. We got to put pause on that and get the Artifacts album done so that, it can get sent off for vinyl manufacture and everything like that. And then, there's just if I went down the list, there's 8 or 9 other things that just, it's not that when I tell people the album took 6 years to make, it's not that we worked on it for 6 consecutive years, just on some Guns N' Roses Chinese Democracy. It wasn't like that. It was that, between our respective, Elle was, pre-COVID, Elle was touring the globe. He was all over the planet, and, I was booked up heavy in the studio, and we were just both doing a lot of things. But every chance that we got to get up with each other and slap some paint on the canvas, we took advantage of it. And that's one of the things that's made me the most happy is that, Bring It In Loud, the single that we dropped, 2 weeks ago, video shot and filmed in Atlanta, directed by DJ Burn 1. That song was recorded in 2015. Like,
oh wow,
literally, we talked about it. We've been dropping weekly webisodes every Friday, leading up to the album.
I noticed that. They're dope.
Show people some behind the scenes stuff, but we actually recorded Bring It In Loud the day after Pumpkinhead passed away. And that's why John Robinson's got like the ill Pumpkinhead, tribute bar in there. But if you do the math on that, like that was August of 2015. Yeah. But the point I'm trying to establish with that is that like that's a 6-year-old song, basically, that just came out 2 weeks ago, like it's brand new, and everyone's raving about how it sounds. So just let that be a lesson to artists that like, there's not an expiration date.
Your music should be timeless, man.
It's brand new to anybody that's never heard it. Yeah. But that's we just both was very busy. Was why it ended up taking so long.
And I would say like in that being busy, what people have to understand is like Jake, like he said, he runs a business in the studio. So that's how he make his money. That's how he pay his rent. Same with me. Whether if I'm doing features or touring or selling merch, doing pop-ups, these things become mandatory. But in doing what we're doing, even mixing the Artifacts record with Buck Wild, even doing the record with Sadat, like there's no sleep, and because we knew those records had to get out the way, I appreciated Jay. I told him all the time. I appreciated him for, putting what we were doing to the side, but what we were doing on the side was still making records for the album, that made the album even better. And the same thing happened with me and Sadat record. Like we was recording songs at the same time. I'm recording songs with me and Sadat, me and Tame, me and a whole bunch of other things happening. So, but what I did say to him was like, once all that was done and the mixes was finished and the mastering was done, we had so much more time to focus on ourselves that everything that we was preparing for ourselves, I did prior with me and Sadat or me and Tame. So I was like, okay, look, we gotta first like understand what we actually gonna do before we even start putting all this stuff out. Because we can record everything, get everything mixed and mastered. I would say doing this the way of, this is the first time I did this process digitally and Jake showed me a lot with this, where doing this way with the speedy singles and putting out the previews and the webisodes before the record come out is something that we did back in the day, where before your album came out, you would put out like 2 or 3 singles. Mm-hmm. You can make an announcement that your album coming out in the fall, but all during the spring, all through the summer, and then you have 2 singles banging through the spring and summer.
Oh yeah.
And before the album drop in the fall, you put out another single that would be like the main single for the album and video and your whole push. So it's kind of like in the same way we're doing now, but in a faster way, because it is online and because everything online is like this.
Yeah, and it's not so spread out over time. Like it's kind of bang bang. It's more bang 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 versus, we got the spring, we got the summer here. We talking about 6 months there, and then in the fall, blah. Yeah, that's crazy.
You got like 3 months.
Yeah,
like 3 months to 2 months.
Yeah,
and you. But this is what is dope about it, though. Like you have no time to sit back and chill. You know what I'm saying? You really got to be on your toes to say, if we're gonna put this record out, we got to promote it on our own. Spend money on blog sites to get the info there. I would say that, like, this is a test for dudes of my era, but they should be happy because at the same time, you get to see how many people really rocking with you when it's time for the album to come out.
No doubt.
People rocking, they see what you're doing, and when the record comes out, you'll see all the work that you put in, at the end when it's time for the record. This way it's just like crunch time and you get nervous.
Facts.
To the 2 singles we put out, and what people have to understand too, it's not like we on a big machine. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of records coming out right now from everybody, every angle you could think of. And I would say the thing about me and Jay's record, with even just the 2 singles and then the third one that's about to come out, our album is very like up tempo. and very, it's kind of speedy to a point where everything right now, when I listen to all the music built around it, as far as on the charts and everything like that, everything is kind of like mid-tempo slow.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I understand not say what we up against, but I understand also that you have to be different.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go too far away from where I'm already at or have been. But I think with this music that me and Jake did is a testament to kind of like where I come from. Even if I'm older than Jake, he understands and music, to differentiate the beats on an album where it's like one producer, but it sounds like many.
Right.
So, we try to build this record for not just people that like us, but maybe for people that might want something different too. And, at the same time, keep their attention because everything is so.
No doubt.
Every song that come on after every next song is just like,
it's
going right behind it. So,
hey,
you got some vibe where it goes to the left and slow down, but most of the record is this.
Right.
Hey, El, stay right there for a second, man. Speaking about where you come from and your lineage and everything like that, what's your preference? With things with the industry or I don't know, the business side, the promotion side of things being totally different right now these days, versus, where you come from, when you had a label deal and a team working your records versus you having to work them now. Like, I think I know the answer to this question, but I just like to hear from you. What's your preference?
Now, what you got to understand is when we was on the label, there was nothing. Like you had to go. I used to go to the label and just hang out and see who was who and figure out what we had to do from there rather than them calling us saying, y'all got to do this that day. And this, they had no control. You talking about a fan club, cats mailing letters. Come on. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if they didn't push that out there that they can have that access to it to send letters, we wouldn't know until I would go there and I would see it.
Yeah, squeaky wheel gets the attention, right? You still got to be in the
So with a lot of cats back then, that was our biggest complaint about promotion and marketing. Where you got shelf time of 3-4 weeks when you put your record out and you want them to go to where you're from, where people gonna buy it. And a lot of times that didn't happen. So here it is now, 2021, and I've kind of been internet savvy through all these different devices and sites, and whether it be MySpace to Facebook to Instagram to Twitter to whatever. It is too many mediums for you not to say you can't push your name and your brand. It's like you can do what you want to do now.
Yeah,
it's just
right.
that I think that you have to be involved enough to know that you can do it yourself. You can hire people to do this for you, whether you pay them for a couple of weeks of promotion, whether it be a couple of months. It's all in what you put money into. But it's so much better to have the control of it because, those times you didn't have that luxury. You would always have to call somebody at the label, ask them what's going on, and you wouldn't know until you asked. Where now, you're in control of your own destiny.
In real time, too.
There is no curse in this gift because you can do it on your own. You know what I'm saying? You can direct the traffic how you want to. You can, be online. You can have a web page, a merch page. You can do everything on your Instagram. I wish you want to do this, whether you're selling music or selling merch. It's wide open now. And you can control it on how your outcome that you want it to be. But a lot of cats from my era, still don't know how to do that. Or even go the path to go with somebody, not say be their assistant or tell them what to do, but you have to be doing this actively to yourself. Because then you see the power in what this medium can do. And you'll never know until you try to do it. A lot of people, I'm 50, I'm in this game for almost 30 years or more. But I'm just trying to be an example to show cats you can do this by yourself. You don't need a lot of people to help. You don't need no team. Get with a cat. When me and Jake got together, He don't know my outlook on things. When I'm in that room, sitting there listening to stuff and just conversating with him, I'm filling him out to say, for a lot of music I've done, especially in Europe, I work with my man Chillo, I work with the Returners, I work with a lot of European cats, I work with cats out here. My thing is to work with the dude that nobody works with and make magic with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jake told me a few people got hands on these beats that we work with on this album, but every beat ain't for everybody.
Right.
But when I heard him, I was like, damn, okay, let's go. And trust me, listen, he would send me emails on with beats, and I was like, wow, Jay. I told him, yo, bro, listen, if I do these songs right, people won't even know that you did these beats. Because you look at Jake, you don't think he can rhyme. I know a lot of dudes that I've seen DJ, when you look at them, they look like they the most docile cat. Get on the turntable, done, just done.
No doubt.
That was my mentality in doing this whole project. So when I heard the drive and the music, I was like, damn. I said, yo, look, see, this can be done.
Yeah.
But you have to, cats my age got to make themselves go on a journey to where you got to just like forget everything. Like they say about quarterbacks, you throw 5 interceptions, they're going to let you play. You got to forget about all that and still try to throw touchdowns.
No doubt.
So that's been my career throughout all of these years, you know, just to keep active, work with people like my man Jake that'll keep you sounding good because he has a sound that I felt like, yo, you know what? Let me rock out with him because I knew where it would go, especially once we got deep into the record. So no matter how long it took for us to get it done, I knew that this would take it to a level of where I've probably never been, probably where Jake never been. But if I don't use these tools that we're using right now today,
right,
people won't even know that we're doing what we're doing.
Right.
Yeah. Jake, so I know where you're from. I know where I'm from. Small little country ass fucking towns. So I know it bugs me out. I'm bugged out right now because I'm talking to fucking Elder Sensei from the Artifacts. Right. So, you know, and all the numerous folks we've had on the show, right, Meeks? I know you bug out too.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, did you ever think growing up in fucking East Tennessee, dude, that you would be doing an album with Elder Sensei from the Artifacts? I mean, that has got to bug you the fuck.
Yo, the Artifacts was part of the Artifacts was part of the soundtrack, man. The whole college radio indie, you know what I'm saying? That's Artifacts is in there heavy, man. So don't ever get it fucking twisted. Like,
yeah, right.
We talking to some real G's right now.
No, I definitely, if you'd have asked me, would I have thought I'd have an album with Elder Sensei? No, I probably wouldn't, just because, you know. Yeah. And that's another thing too that I think like is a really dope thing about this album is that, you know, the way that I'm trying to, you know, because trust me, I've seen some of the internet comments where it's like, the $50 haircut guy made these beats, really? You know, because like the thing that makes my music different and stick out like a sore thumb is, okay, you know, I make lyrical miracle BoomBap hip-hop, right? I'm rappity-roo, spittery spit, like I'm doing all these things. But because I occasionally incorporate Southern beats and because I use a lot of humor in my music, sometimes people don't know what to do with it. Right. So with that said, you know, my production is universal. So, you know, as far as a rapper, you love me or you don't. But my production is universal. And one of the things that I think is really dope is that that's how I'm kind of trying to market myself as a producer now. Like, rather than just trying to get a beat placed on somebody's album and a beat placed on this album and a beat, you know, I like doing entire projects with people because like there really is something to be said about like locking in with one artist from start to finish, like from Genesis to Omega, you know, it's a gestation period, damn near, you know. But I think when you can lock in with one artist and create an album start to finish, like that's what I really want this album to show people is my range as a producer. You know what I mean? But I'm saying that to say that, like, we made an album full. Luckily, the weather's still warm right now because we made an album of like some ill, feel good cookout music.
Agreed.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And that's something I think people might not necessarily expect coming from me. So when they hear these really digestible, dope beats, and they hear an album or they hear an MC like El Sensei on top of them, then, hopefully that'll help turn some more folks on to, what I can do creatively behind the boards and not just sonically. So
it had to be hard to pick singles for this record, I would imagine. Because I mark up in Serato, all the joints, and I have a little color code system for the records that, we're going to play on the show. And, I kind of have it's not that complicated. It's 2 tiers. Like I have everything that I really fuck with, that I really like, that I think should be on the show or could be a candidate for being on the show, gets a yellow. And then joints that I kind of like, or, I think that maybe might work in a mix better, but may not necessarily be super standouts. Like those will get a green. And right. So when I go through through an entire album, because it's a mix show, right? So even to kind of L's point, kind of the more up tempo, more energy, you want a mix to feel like that. And over half the album's marked up yellow. And when I was going through it, actually, I was thinking to myself, it was probably difficult to pick the singles because there's just joints like that on there. To your point,
Kinda, yeah.
I think we did Blast Off. I told him when I heard the beat, I was like, "This is a single right here."
That was always the first single.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. Yeah,
was always the first single. Yeah.
I hadn't even put nothing on it, and when we did, I always think about my man Malik when I do hooks of that sort because he always tell me not to be afraid to use my voice, and I said that to Jake when we were doing it, that I have to sometimes get myself in tune with a track, but because of the piano and the underneath bass is what I put my voice to, where when I'm hearing the doom 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 doom, I'm hearing the let me do my voice like that.
Right.
But then there were different levels of it, and I was trying to actually match my voice with it, but it was like, Elliot, don't be afraid. You know what I'm saying? Try and do this. Make sure that you do the right thing because if you blow this beat, you're going to do it dumb. This beat is so easy. You know what I'm saying? Even when we mixed it, it was like how you just bounce out the line and you got a bomb just laying in your head. You're not like the dude from the Giants the other night, but
right.
All you got to do is just, it's done. So that's how I was doing that song. But then I noticed that all the songs we was picking, all the beats I was picking was fast. Because I've not had an opportunity to do a lot of songs in my career. So when I was hearing all the tracks coming and I was like, all right, yeah, word. But this one was the first one after I did the joint with Wordwork, the Last Laugh. So once and Jake rocks on one of the joints with me, all of these songs, like you said, mix-wise, tempo-wise, we had to figure out. And my man said it too when he heard it. He got through the first couple of songs. Maybe after the third or fourth one, he was like, okay. We was in my basement, he's smoking, and he was like, yo, all right, he was quiet. And maybe the third, he started working. He was like, okay. And then when Lose the Draw come up, but then when he got past When Lose the Draw, he was like, yo, the whole record after him for him, because I know him. When he likes something, he started rolling up more. And he had a couple of beers, so he started loosening up. And maybe after a few songs after that, he's like, all right, this is what I'm talking about. He said, yo, your man is dope, though. He said, I see you work with a lot of people. He said, you got good chemistry with this dude. And this cat, my man that comes through said this, he never comes to my house that much. So anytime he comes, he's like, me, it was new. So I just told him, and he didn't know too much about this record. So I can only just tell him to sit down and listen. Man, he judges everything, how he do. But my man, he tells the truth because he's not like us. So I knew this was a good chance for me to really test the record out. My man, he was loving it after a while. And he was actually trying to do the same thing trying to figure out afterwards, like which ones could be singles and everything. So,
right.
I told him what we was going to do. But that's the dilemma you want to have. Which ones could be which. Because then the people start choosing. We knew we could pick the first 3. But after that, and when the album come out, then everybody could decide, like, which ones they feel the most. And, I'm just hoping that, people suck in this record in a way of understanding that with what Jake said for our range, I'm trying to do the same thing. I'm trying to still show and prove that I can still come from a time and draw something back where people, if they never heard me on anything fast, this is your best opportunity to get into this record.
Yeah.
Everything is boom, boom, boom. It's like right now for me, it's not about being calm. It's not about being laid back. You know what I'm saying? Like with everything that, we're about to be in the house again, I feel as far as the fall and the winter. So like, this is one record I think that, if you feel like you're going to go to the gym, you feel like you want to feel a little bit edgy, or you want to feel like you want to just get into a mood where you don't feel like being moody or anything like that. You just want some high energy, you want to just be charged up. This record is for that person.
That's what I was gonna say. The energy is there, so it's definitely a different feel. Definitely motivates you sonically. So that's some good shit, El.
Thank you.
What are you guys doing on the physical front? You doing CDs, or I know vinyl's kind of a tough game right now.
Well, the CDs, absolutely.
Okay.
CDs will start shipping around the 1st of October, first week of October. You know what I mean? But no, definitely a physical CD release. You probably are well aware of the giant pickle that the vinyl manufacturing world is in right now, and it's taking people.
That's why the Artifacts album is not out yet.
That's why the Artifacts
Really?
album's not out yet. It's frequently taking people a year or more to get their records. So we definitely want to do vinyl. We don't want to make people wait a year and a half to get, physical products. So, we're debating maybe doing it through Bandcamp, to where, when we get a certain amount of pre-orders, they'll go ahead and manufacture it and handle the shipping. So stay tuned for that. There might be vinyl if there's enough of a demand for it, but absolutely there will be CDs, and we're going to be doing merch bundles, where you can get t-shirt, sticker, the CD, autographed, glossy, 8x10.
Yeah, they getting the whole package.
The whole 9 yards.
Y'all holler at DJ Muggs yet? He pressing he got a pressing plant now.
Yeah, Muggs bought the actual pressing plant to try to solve that problem for himself. He was tired of waiting.
In Cali, in Rainbow?
No, New York.
DJ Muggs bought the pressing, bought the equipment.
I wonder which one he bought.
It's in New York. I think he bought he created a new plant. I don't think he bought somebody's. I think he bought a new
facility. A new facility, yeah.
I think he built a new one.
Yeah.
Wow.
My man said, I ain't waiting with nobody.
Well, exactly. that jump around money get you a long way. You know what I mean? So
I'm sure they
do some things.
And a lot of Cypress Hill money too.
Yes. Right, Cypress Hill money. There you go.
Yes, sir. Don't forget about that. That's some different money.
So y'all got some. I looked and saw that you guys have an album release party coming up soon. I think you're doing a pop-up shop kind of around the time that the album's dropping. Why don't you guys tell us about those in case folks are up around that way?
The next day on Saturday after the album drops, we're gonna be in Union City, New Jersey. Yep. Arrowax Records. Good brother invited us to come there. He saw I was doing a lot of pop-ups all over. He said, "We want to do one in Jersey." I was like, okay, well, let's do it on the next day of the album release. And that'll be like anything that we can do to promote this record. And I was glad that he approached me about doing it because, that's always what I'm trying to do is figure out a way to promote anything. But this was the best way I feel me and Jake did, not say quietly, but in a way, give everybody a chance to, we're going to go live. We're going to do a set. We're going to have other people going to be performing. My man Malik going to be DJing. So the week later, we do the album release party in New York, Mercury Lounge.
Yep.
Tickets are available at Eventbrite. Y'all can go there and
Live Nation,
Ticketmaster. Tickets there. You know, however we can push this, you know, like I said, there's no big machine. This is me and Jake, Soul Spasm. This is my man at Blog Love in Germany.
Shout out to the Snow Goons who've been helping us with the promo.
Yeah, man, these dudes, I work with them a lot. I've known them since 2005 when I've been on a lot of their music, a lot of their records, and on tour. So these dudes are like always in my corner, and I'm always in their corner. And we do a lot of business. So this is one part of it that I've talked with them about on tour, and they manifested that. And we use that tool to the best of our ability. So, like, you know, this party is just a whole nother thing of pushing what we're trying to do, man. Because, like I said, there's no big label. There's no, you know, 10, 100,000, you know, views and fake people we don't know. This is all genuine. This is all us doing this. You know, everything is a real, true person that's liking this. I appreciate that. On my page a lot of times. When if I see 1,000, 2,000, I'm like, word, okay, bad. Like, because I know that the people that's following me are real people. Some of them,
those are real people.
I know, of course,
no doubt.
But we have a following right now of people that's in Jake's, you know, atmosphere and mine. And when you have two different fan bases and crowds, and that's how we start. People learn more about me through him, and more people, especially for me, for him.
Yeah.
You know, these are the things that I do, you know, to help not just myself, but to help Jake get to a certain point, because right now, at this juncture of my career, this is what it's about. You know what I'm saying? Like, people ask me how I stay relevant a lot. It's always to work with the producer that you may not think you're going to work with, that may be new, or you never got a chance to work with.
Dope.
So for me, I push this even harder. Probably not, I ain't going to say then, Jake, but I want this to work and win, because I want people to know what I found out when I got to his studio. And that was the reason why I asked him. I asked him that. You know what I'm saying? He didn't ask me, because I heard what I heard. I was like, wow, God, we need to work. Because there's a lot of things you hear in people, and you might see in people that other people might not see. And for me, because me and Jake smoked on this topic so many times. For me, and I don't say if it works, because I put shit in the universe. So, like, when this shit worked, and for a lot of people that may have, you know, because Jake told me one time, he said, "Oh, you get me." I said, Jake, I'm like no matter what I've done prior to this, I'm like you.
That's dope.
Because I'm not that dude that's, you know, blowing my horn and this and that, whatever. I'm the dude in the corner with my bud. I'm minding my business until it's time to get on stage or go in the booth. After I'm done with that, my cape is off and I'm back to Elliot. And a lot of people know that. So, like, this shit, I like to bring my friends with me. I like to share in what I'm trying to do, because I want him to know what it feels like to be able to win, because I've had times in my life where shit ain't work. And at times I've had where shit did work and I win. But I've only gotten that because of the work I put in. And that's one thing I'm proud of. And I can say in myself that there's a lot of times I could have folded in this shit, because a lot of, you know, there's a lot of drawback. There's a lot of, you know, things where plans don't always work out. But that's the part of when, like, you know, like you said, like, using these tools can really help you.
No doubt.
But if you don't push hard enough to even see where it's going to get you, there's a lot of cats from my era at this point that don't do none of this shit.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't take it for granted at all. So for Jake to even want to do it with me, I don't think that highly of myself that I'm going to think that he's going to just agree and do the album with me. That's why I asked him in the way I did, because I'm like, look, I can help you, you can help me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Let's get it popping. Let's do, and through that process, we got to become real good friends.
That's dope. Yeah. Super dope, man. For sure.
I always say, if the music business was ever on fire and there were only 5 people I could save, I'd say Elvis is
dope. That's dope. That's big as shit too, Jake.
Yeah, that's saying a lot.
To be able to say that's big
real
as
rap, though. Real rap, though. Like,
I think about that because I don't want to burn.
Yeah, right.
Well, L, let me ask you this: what's the status? You told us the reason why the Artifacts album hasn't come out yet, but what's the official status on the Artifacts? And also XL, was that a one-off project or is that that's a group and there's more music coming? Let us know what's up with that.
Well, the Artifacts joint is done, yo. I mean, like, it's packaged up. Jake mixed and mastered it. Buck Wild was in the room with us. We did all of this work. We passed the record in, and we just been waiting, getting info here and there. For me and Tame, we like this. The album is like just another addition in the chamber of bullets that people going to hear where we didn't lose a step. I would hope that people would feel that. A lot of scratching on the record. We got all elements in this record intact. So it's nothing that I feel people going to feel like we lost. It's just like, we got a whole 10 songs with Buck Wild.
How's that joint sound, Jake? How's it sound, man?
I think it's great. I think the album is paced in a really good way. Like an album should be paced in a way that leaves you wanting more when it's over. Mm-hmm. And so, it is kind of a short album, it's 10 songs, you know what I mean? But like, that's just enough to cover like kind of all the bases. But, it moves at such a good pace that I think it leaves you wanting more. And, it was my first time meeting and working with Buck Wild also, obviously. Yeah. Got a lot of classics under his belt, and I was able to get, cool and, really build with Buck in the studio. But no, it was a fun time. We mixed that album relatively quickly, like, in a couple weeks.
How long has that been in the bag?
Man, we've been recording this record not as much time as me and Jake's or me and Sadat's album, but like once we got it recorded, it was pretty much just like getting all the files together. That's what took the longest part. Me getting it to Jake was getting all the files in order, just making sure we had everything. Like I said, chemistry-wise, the record works. And like Jake said, though, even for me, it leave me wanting more. I wish we were probably 14 joints on the head.
Yeah,
it felt like a little Illmatic-y. But it leaves you to understand that we got more in the barrel.
Okay. What about XL?
Say again?
And what about XL?
Now, XL is like, we already picking beats for that. I talk to Sadat all the time.
Yeah, shout out to Sadat.
Like, he moved, he lives in North Carolina now, not New York.
Yeah.
We did the first album, we did every song together. Like, we had no song where we were separate. We was always in the same room. So now with him living out there, we got to switch that up a little bit, of course. I'm probably going to go out there to do something with him. And but I want to do this after, because like Jake said, we had so much interruption with what we were doing. I think with what I'm doing, Sadat, I always explain to him the same thing. I said, let me get a few beats together. I mean, like pretty much we got like a plethora of beats ready to go. This album won't be so much as like the last one, though. We won't have 22 songs. We're going to limit it back down to 14, 15, and we won't have like so many different producers. We went overload on that last one because we had to. Yeah. And, we wasn't trying to leave nothing on the cutting floor. We putting all these out. There's no problem why we shouldn't. We schools everything on there. We did a lot of videos for it. But this new record is going to be way bigger than the last one. I just know from just the beats that I've been given. My man Kick Beats out in LA. He's my man Science. I want to get something from Jake. I just want to get I'm not the one to do like 50 songs and then pick like 10 or 15 and then have a whole bunch of other songs ready to go. I record as I go. So I would rather all of the songs be fresh and new. I try not, like I said, to record so many songs. There's not like a time where I got free to do stuff like that. So every song got to be like, it's going to be a real song. So XL is definitely going to be coming totally different than the last one, but in a more controlled way. It's going to be definitely subdued.
So,
and Sadat is on Solving Cases, by the way.
Oh, word, yes. He got an ill version.
He popped up on he blessed us with a nice verse for that.
Sir. Now, Jake, you have a solo album coming in October, right? Is that still the plan?
End of October, first week in November. Yeah. Okay. It's called Plant-Based Libtard. And it was
Hey, we need an explanation.
Okay. So it's to make a long story as short as possible. For starters, in recent years, I've been adjusting my diet a little bit. I grew up in the South, so my heart beats fried chicken. Woo! But, in the last few years, I've been on my plant-based kick, for health purposes and stuff like that. So last year during the election season and the pandemic and all the craziness, I found myself on the internet arguing with a lot of Trump trolls. And, if I made a post that called for there's a lot of there's a lot of closet hate mongers in underground hip hop.
Yes, there are a lot.
I have slowly been exposing. And so, if I made a post that was socially conscious or, criticized anything from, taking away women's rights to white supremacy or whatever, all these weirdos would start popping up out the woodwork to argue with me. Mm-hmm. And, they start calling me a libtard. And then, when they find out, I'm not eating meat no more, they start poking fun at that. So my whole thing is whatever you try to say about me, I'm going to aggressively find a way to flip it back on you. So,
no doubt.
They're calling me a soy boy. And so I'm sitting there laughing the soy boy with a gun. And you know what I mean? So I found this old picture. I leaked the album cover a couple months ago, and I've kept it quiet since then because I want it to be a surprise when we actually do the rollout for the album. But I found this old picture of me as a little youngin' with the machine gun on my shoulder. And so it's kind of and also too my professional life been going great, but my personal life has been a mess. And so I had a lot to rap about and a lot of aggression, a lot of things to get off my chest. So after all that time cooped up in the pandemic and, having to fight with all these weirdos on the internet and everybody's trying to poke at me, I'm like, you know what? Let me find a way to flip it on them. But it's a 13-track album. This album is predominantly harder beats, I'm not, like I said, it's predominantly harder beats. But no, that'll be, with all the work that we had put into trying to make Solving Cases a reality, when we finally had an opening to make Solving Cases a reality, we needed to do that. So, but I'm going to be following up with my solo, end of October, top of November. It's finished. It's been finished.
Dope.
But yeah, it's coming.
All right. Beautiful.
Hell yeah.
All right, well, fellas, thank y'all for your time tonight.
Absolutely.
I guess so. The record drops 9/24, right, on Friday.
Friday, September 24th. That's my birthday.
All right,
dope.
Coincidentally, it hits all streaming, retailers, platforms, all that. We will have at the end of this week, we will have links up where you can pre-order the CD. Mm-hmm. CDs will start to ship around the first week of October. And if you're in the tri-state area, you can catch us in Union City, New Jersey on the 25th. You can catch us in Manhattan on the 29th. Stay tuned though, because there's going to be more videos, more singles. We're going to do remixes. We're gonna keep this running for a minute.
Good.
So
good.
We're gonna do more pop-ups and stuff. So we just getting this first week out the way.
I know you got that merch on deck too.
Oh yeah, man! I told Jake the other day, we doing merch with the record, right? So no, I'm ready. So we getting all the artwork and stuff done right now.
Nice.
My man DJ AV, he's taking care of that. So once we get all that done, I told him send me the logo so we can get it in the ready.
All
right, dope.
Yeah, man.
Fellas, thank y'all.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Thank you all for having us, man. It was great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Y'all have a good one.
All right, peace, y'all.
All right, peace. All right, Meeks. There you go, man.
You know what it is.
Can't beat it.
Can't beat it.
Cannot beat it.
Might as well join it. Quit playing yourself. Quit playing yourself. This is Southern Vangard Radio.
Southern Vangard Radio. Solving cases by the. Let's see what else he's going to drop on Thursday. Yeah, it's more or less is pretty much out by the time you hear this.
Yeah.
But get it everywhere. Go back to episode 304.
Yes.
To hear some joints. We're going to world premiere some more things off the record.
Yeah.
And it's the Guard, y'all doing Meeks. We out.
We out, y'all. Peace.
Peace.